Hi, welcome back to Tired Old Queen at the Movies. I'm Johnny, and this week we're going to get a great movie from our friend Steve. Let's go see him.
Ooh, Johnny, we haven't done a musical in a long time, so I decided to do one of my all-time favorites. From 1953, Doris Day and Howard Keel in Calamity Jane, directed by David Butler, and a score by Fain and Webster. The reigning musical star at Warner Brothers at this time was Doris Day. Doris Day had started out in a movie called Romance of the High Seas.
It's you or no one for me.
She'd been a singer with the Les Brown Orchestra for a long time, and she made her big hit song with them was Gonna Take a Sentimental Journey. She had the most soothing, distinctive vocal quality, and she was a terrific actress.
There'll never be another man like him. Not for me. Not ever.
She was the Warner's reigning musical star, so they wrote Calamity Jane, which is almost very much like Annie Get Your Gun.
Anything you can do, I can do better.
If there's one thing I can do without, I can do without you.
Calamity Jane is about this girl who's just a tomboy, and she's rough and tumble, and she's a great sharpshooter.
How many of them engines you reckon I shot Rattlesnake?
About 30, I reckon, Clam.
That's better. Next time I tell a story, keep your hands in your pockets, you toothless old buffalo.
It takes place in Deadwood, and she is sort of pining after this cavalryman who can't see her for bug dust because she always wears buckskins, and she's always shooting her guns.
Why do we both have to ride the same horse? We could have grabbed one of those Indian ponies.
It's cozier this way.
And her sort of friendly nemesis is Wild Bill Hickok.
You're not.
You're a fake.
You're a bonehead.
Troublemaker. I can do without you.
The music in this movie is absolutely charming, There's one called Whip Crack Away when they're coming in on the stage.
A beautiful sky, a wonderful day. Whip crack away, whip crack away, whip crack away.
The very famous song from this is Doris Day singing Secret Love.
Once I had a secret love.
Secret Love became a #1 hit and won the Academy Award for Best Song. And Doris, coincidentally, almost at the same time, had another #1 hit that also won an Oscar, Que Sera Sera, from Alfred Hitchcock's The Man Who Knew Too Much. Doris Day has always said that this was her favorite movie that she ever made. It's a strange movie, though, because Calamity Jane decides that she's going to bring in some legitimate theater into Deadwood. So she goes in and brings this stage star, played by Ellen Ann McCleary, who was a dancer-singer there. And this is a feminine, lovely girl, and Calamity doesn't know what to make of her. And it has sort of a gay undertone to it that they never pointed it out, but when you watch it today, you go, whoa!
Gosh almighty. You're the prettiest thing I ever seen. Never knowed a woman could look like that.
Her whole thing is just gung-ho, but there's always sort of a sexual tension there, and Alan and Clary is always sort of looking at her like,
How do you hold that dress up there? Please.
She makes Doris Day more feminine. And of course, once she gets in a dress and she looks so beautiful, Howard Keel notices her.
Look better in a dress.
Do it, Danny.
You're an absolute vision, Calamity.
Howard Keel was the perfect person for this. He was a great big 6'2" guy. He was huge. And he was the MGM musical king. He had done Kiss Me Kate. He did Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. He did Kismet. He was the major male musical star.
Folks who shout, take a look at him. He's pitched in the head.
And he was perfect with Doris Day. They had a great chemistry together.
You have to wear that old army coat?
Old coat. It was Custer's, Bill. Give it to me yourself. If it's good enough for Custer, it ought to be good enough for Fort Scully.
This movie was shot in Warner Color. It was a huge, huge hit for Doris Day. And everybody liked her. Doris Day is one of those people who was genuinely as nice in real life as she was on camera. And later on, of course, Ross Hunter, gay producer Ross Hunter at Universal, saw her at a party in a low-cut dress and a really tight skirt, and he said, "You know, Doris, you've got the cutest tush in Hollywood, and nobody knows it. I'm gonna write a few comedies about that, you know." And he teamed her up with Rock Hudson. Rock Hudson and Doris had a great relationship. He called her Eunice. He said, "You don't look like a Doris Day. You look like a Eunice," and she called him Ernie. And they were always just best buddies. She was the #1 box office draw in the early 60s for like 3 or 4 years. She made a fortune. Her husband lost it all for her. He had signed her up to do a TV show. Well, the last thing she wanted to do was a TV show, but she did it, and she did the Doris Day Show. And it was a nice sitcom TV show that she did, and she made it all back. And that's always been the key to Doris Day, that she really does live like her image. She's always sunny. She always has a positive outlook. She comes back. Life may throw something at her, but she steps right up and comes right back. And she's really a really great human being. There's been all sorts of petitions to give her a special Academy Award, and I'd like to put a plug in for that right now. Give Doris Day a special Oscar. If anybody deserves it, she deserves it. And you're gonna think she should have had the Oscar for this. Howard Keel, Doris Day, in this wonderful Warner Brothers musical, Calamity Jane. Once I had a secret love. Let's all go to the lobby.
I'm gonna yell out. So what's their first name?
Who? That was the late Vincent Carter speaking.
The popcorn can't be beat.